Hello, social psychology students. So the purpose of this video is to give you a chance to take the BEMS sex role inventory to know where you are on this scale and to teach you more about the scale. So I'm going to use share screen now and put you in one of the PowerPoint slides. It's called the self. You have access to this. So what I need you to do is to take out a sheet of paper and write the numbers 1 through 60. And next to each number, you need to leave a space to put about 2 numbers, okay? And basically, on the next couple slides, there are 60 adjectives. You're going to read the adjective, and then for each adjective, determine the extent to which that adjective is a good description of you on a scale of 1 to 7. 1, never or almost never true, all the way to 4 in between, and then 7, always or almost always true. And you're going to write your rating next to that number, the number that corresponds with the adjective. Okay, if you have any questions on how to do this, feel free to either email me directly or use the discussion board in the Blackboard section of the course, and I can answer it there. So once you have the numbers 1 through 60 down, you may need to stop the recording to write the 1 to 60, then turn the recording back on. Okay, let's assume everyone has the 1 to 60 written down then. Here are the 30 of the 60 adjectives. So the next 2 slides really goes through each of the adjectives. So for number 1, self-reliant, on a scale of 1 to 7, how good does self-reliant describe you? If you're never or almost never self-reliant, you'll give yourself a 1. And then if you're always or almost always self-reliant, you'll give yourself a 7. So where are you on that continuum? So on your piece of paper right next to the number 1, put that rating of 1 to 7. And then you're going to do that for the rest of these 30 adjectives. So stop the recording now and go through these 30 adjectives. Okay, assuming you've done these 30 adjectives, let's go to the next slide. Here's 30 more adjectives. So again, stop the video and you're rating from 1 to 7. 1, not at all, never true, almost never true. 7, almost always true of me. How descriptive are these remaining 30 adjectives? Stop the video so you can read these to yourself. Okay, assuming you're back now. Okay, you're now going to add the ratings that you gave for the adjectives that were numbered 1, 4, 7. So if I go back here, that sheet of paper next to 1, how self-reliant are you? And the number that you wrote for defends own beliefs, the number that you wrote for independent, and so on. You're going to sum those up. So here are the question numbers or the adjective numbers. What rating did you give for these 20 adjectives? Add that up, divide by 20, and you're going to get a number between 1 and 7. This number is your masculine score. Please stop the video now so you can add up your ratings for these 20 items. Okay, assuming that you've done that now we're going to do the feminine score. So you're now going to add up your ratings for the adjectives with these numbers, 2, 5, 8, and so on. So your rating for yielding and your rating for cheerful, you're going to add together with your rating for shy and affectionate and so on. So you're going to add your ratings for these numbers, then divide by 20, and again you'll get a number between 1 and 7. This is your feminine score. Okay. All right, now if you will stop the video and do that. Okay, assuming you're back, I just want to read to you the masculine items. So, you know, the numbers 1 and 4 and 7 and so on. The masculine items, this time I'm going to read them to you in alphabetical order. Acts as a leader. Aggressive, ambitious, analytical, assertive, athletic, competitive, defends own beliefs, dominant, forceful, has leadership abilities, independent, individualistic, makes decisions easily, masculine, self-reliant, self-sufficient, strong personality, willing to take a stand, willing to take risks. Those 20 adjectives are the seen as masculine adjectives. And the more you endorse those, the more you gave those 6 or 7 ratings saying that they're good descriptors of you, the higher your masculine score is going to be. Now the feminine adjectives, here are the feminine adjectives in alphabetical order. Affectionate, cheerful, childlike, compassionate, does not use harsh language, eager to soothe hurt feelings, feminine, flatterable, gentle, gullible, loves children, loyal, sensitive to the needs of others, shy, soft-spoken, sympathetic, tender, understanding, warm, yielding. These are the 20 adjectives that, according to the BEM sex role inventory, are feminine qualities. So the higher, the more 6 and 7s you gave for these, the higher your feminine score is going to be. One of the reasons why I take the time for students to take the BEM sex role inventory, because this is used a lot in the literature, is for you to see how much these adjectives may not match your stereotype or your prototype of what someone who is feminine or what someone who is masculine is like. I know they certainly don't match mine. Some of you are probably wondering, okay, that's 40 of the adjectives. What were the other 20 adjectives, like adaptable, conceited, conscientious, conventional, friendly, happy, helpful and efficient, jealous, likable, moody, reliant, secretive, sincere, solemn, tactful, theatrical, truthful, unpredictable, and unsystematic? What were those about? Those are just adjectives in there to sort of throw you off. So, and some of those form a social desirability scale too, but we're not going to talk about that. But that was there, so it wasn't like really clear that what this whole scale was about was how masculine or feminine or androgynous you are. Okay, so now to find out what your BSRI scale is. Well, before we go through that, let me come back here. Sorry. Okay, so according to BEM, we're not, we've got, there's an extent to which we're feminine, and then there's also an extent to which we're masculine. And people can be both high in femininity and high in masculinity. In other words, all 40 of those adjectives that I read make sense to, are good descriptors of who they are. If you score high in femininity and high in masculinity, you're what we call androgynous. There's a very small number of people that are low in all 40 of those adjectives that score low in masculinity and low in femininity. They're going to be called undifferentiated. Very few people are undifferentiated. So when BEM's sexual inventory calls someone masculine, what that means is not only did they score high on their masculine scale, so those 20 adjectives that described that were the part of the masculine scale were good descriptors of who they are, but also the 20 feminine adjectives were not good descriptors of who they were. So to be called masculine, you have to score high in the masculine scale and low in the femininity scale. To be seen as feminine, you need to score high in the femininity scale and low in the masculinity scale. If you're high on both, you're androgynous, and if you're low on both, you're undifferentiated. Because undifferentiated is so infrequent, to find out what you are, we're not going to allow undifferentiated to exist. So you've got your feminine score, that number between 1 and 7. You've got your masculine score, that number between 1 and 7. Take your feminine score minus your masculine score. Whatever that number is, multiply it by 2.322, and you're going to get a t-value. Okay? You can stop the video and do that right now. Okay. I'm assuming you have your t-score. If your t is greater or equal to 2.025, then you're feminine. If it's between 1 and 2.025, you're like near feminine. If your t-score is less than or equal to negative 2.025, then you're masculine. If it's between negative 2.025 and negative 1, you're near masculine. And if it's between negative 1 and positive 1, you're androgynous. So what I have found in the years of teaching this course is that the majority of psychology majors either are feminine, near feminine, or androgynous. If you look at a lot of those adjectives that are on the feminine scale, a lot of them also describe really good therapists. So if you think about it as compassionate, eager to soothe hurt feelings, gentle, sensitive to the needs of others, tender, sympathetic, understanding, warm. Those are all adjectives that describe great therapists, and those are all on the feminine scale. So most psychology majors are going to be feminine, near feminine, or androgynous. And I think it's kind of, I hope you enjoy knowing what you are. I do want you to know about the scale. In order to know if someone is feminine, I need to know more than just what their feminine score is. If I know their feminine score, I know, and let's say they're high in femininity, they're high in that feminine score, they're either going to be feminine or androgynous. I don't know which one. In order to know if someone's feminine, I need two pieces of information: what they scored on the feminine scale and what they scored on the masculine scale. And that's how it is for all of these. In order to determine which category you're in, I need to know how you scored on the masculine scale and how you scored on the feminine scale. Okay. Well, we have now finished covering all of the material from the self chapter, and you are ready to take exam 1. Again, the best strategy for studying for this exam, I think, is answering all the questions to the Study 1 study guide. I'm sorry, Exam 1 study guide. If you have any questions, please email me at maryd@cameron.edu, or you can put the question in the Blackboard course shell under discussion board, and then I can answer it so all you, not only you, but all your classmates can see the answer too. Okay, that's all.